The following picture gives information about people at dining table. There is a brown table in the middle, made of wood and surrounded by adults and kids. A couple, grandchildren and grandparents are having the meal. A lot of tableware is on the table, including forks and knives. Also, you can see some drinks, water, orange juice and wine. What's more, some salad is in a glass bowl on the table. To sum up, the picture tells about how people have a meal. The image depicts a comparison between food pyramids in 1970s and 2010s. The left one has 4 layers and the right one has 3 layers. We can see wine bottle on the top of the pyramid in 1970s, and rice in a blue bowl on the top of the pyramid in 2010s. Then meat is in the second layer in both 1970s and 2010s. Fruits are in the bottom layer in 2010s. In conclusion, the picture compares food pyramids in different decades. This picture shows us plastic recycling. The first stage starts with plastic bottles thrown into rubbish bins. Once this is completed, the subsequent step is to collect rubbish with a cart. After that, all the plastic bottles are crushed by shredding machine. Then they are taken away by a conveyor belt to be washed. The following steps are melting, extrusion and pelletizing. The process concludes with the final output of granules. The following picture gives information about a hydrological cycle. At the center of the image, there are runoff, evaporation, lakes and rivers. The image features several prominent elements, including the sun, clouds, mountains, seawater, and so on. One of the main objects in the picture is the sun, high in the upper right corner. In the background, there is a blue sky with a lot of white clouds. What's more, evaporation above the sea, condensation in the air, precipitation, and rivers make a completer hydrological cycle. In conclusion, the picture tells about how water goes through a hydrological cycle. The following map gives information about the distribution of harlequin ladybird in England. The red dots indicate positions of the birds in 2004, and the black dots indicate those in 2005. In the middle of the graph, I notice in 2004 the birds mainly lived in the east part of England. At the upper right corner of graph it is the North Sea. What's more, we can also see the number of the birds decreased in 2005. And only a very small part of the birds lived inland. In conclusion, the map tells about distribution of ladybird in England. The following line chart gives information about ownerships of cell phone and smartphone in the US. According to the graph, I notice the value of adult owners of any cell phone is around 62% in 2005. From the line chart I find in 2010, the adult owners of smartphone is about 35%. What's more, we can see from the line chart that the highest percentage of adult owners of any cell phone is about 98%. Finally, the lowest point of the line chart is about 40%, which is about adult owners of smartphone. To sum up, this graph tells about ownerships of mobile phone. The following picture gives information about the number of US households keeping pets. According to the graph, I notice cats are 42.7 million. The value of dogs is higher, about 63 million. From the bar chart, we can see the highest one is for total, 84.9 million. The lowest number is for horses and saltwater fish, which is 1.6 million. In the bar chart there are also other items, including freshwater fish and birds. In conclusion, this bar chart tells about US households keeping pets. The following graph gives information about wasted food in UK. According to this graph, in distribution and retail, the value of saved food is around 1 megaton. And that of household including to drain is higher, which is around 2 megaton. What's more, the highest number of thrown away food is in household including to drain, which is 8 megatons. Also, the highest point of saved food is in food and drink manufacturing waste. In conclusion, hospitality sector has the second highest amount of thrown away food. The following graph gives information about education pays. The items include doctoral, master, bachelor, and associate degrees. According to this graph, in unemployment rate, the value of doctoral degree is around 1.4%, and that of master's degree is higher, which is around 1.8%. And the greatest number of median weekly earnings is in doctoral degree, $1,500. What's more, the lowest point of median weekly earnings is in associate degree. To sum up, the higher the degree, the lower the unemployment. The following graph gives information about volunteers who incurred expenses. The items include postage, phone calls, and uniform. According to this graph, in meals, the value of reimbursement is around 16%. And that of phone calls is higher, around 19%. You can see from this graph that the highest percentage of reimbursement is in postage, which is 37%. What's more, the lowest one is uniform. To sum up, the graph tells about reimbursement available. The following graph gives information about the apartment floor plan. Usages of different areas are displayed on the plan. In the upper area, there are the bedroom and the living room. In the lower left corner, it is a bathroom with a closet next to it. According to this graph, the kitchen is next to the closet on the right side. What's more, a balcony is connected with the kitchen. To sum up, the graph tells about how the rooms are arranged. The following pie chart gives information about diamond production by value. The items include Russia, Botswana, Canada, and other countries. According to this graph, the value of Canada is around 14%. And that of others is higher, which is 18%. You can see from this graph that the highest percentage is with Russia, around 26%. What's more, South Africa has the lowest percentage, around 8%. In conclusion, the countries produce so much diamond. The following graph gives information about working hours in Germany. The horizontal axis is year, ranging from 1970 to 2017. According to this graph, the highest value is around 1,900 in the year of 1970. What's more, in the year of 1975, the number is around 1,800, which is lower. The lowest one is around 1,300, and is in 2017. On the contrary, the second lowest point is 1,370, and it occurs in 2010. To sum up, if this trend continues, working hours will be lower in the future. The following graph gives information about popularity of cultural websites in Scotland. The items include none of these: concert websites and library websites. According to this graph, in historical and heritage, the value of popularity is around 20%, and that of concert websites is higher, which is around 30%. You can see from this graph that the highest percentage is in none of these, 55%. What's more, record websites have the lowest percentage. In conclusion, website popularities vary greatly. The following graph gives information about pounds of chocolate consumed per capita. In Sweden, the value is 11.9, and that of Australia is lower, which is around 10.8. You can see the highest number is in Switzerland, 19.8. What's more, the lowest one is in France, just 9.3. To sum up, Switzerland consumes more chocolate than any another county does. The following graph gives information about New Zealand house price. The items include New Zealand and OECD. According to this graph, in 1990, the value of New Zealand is around 100. And that of OECD is almost the same. What's more, the highest number of New Zealand is 250, which is in 2007. Finally, New Zealand is higher than OECD. In conclusion, OECD has smaller changes. The following graph gives information about percentages by age and sex. The items include age groups, female and male. According to this graph, in male, the value of 85 plus is around 0.7, and that of 75 to 84 is higher, which is around 3. You can see from this graph that the highest percentage of female is in 25 to 34, about 16.5. What's more, the lowest share of male is 0.7, for those above 85. To sum up, the two sexes have similar age distributions. The following graph gives information about Europe. Positions of different countries are displayed on the map. At the central area, we can see Austria, Germany, Poland and Czechia. In the left area, there lie Ireland and Portugal. According to this graph, the largest country is Russia, which is located on the right side. In comparison, small countries include Denmark and Belgium. In conclusion, there are many European countries shown on the map. The following graph gives information about average weekly household expenditure. According to this graph, the items include food, medical, transport, and holidays. You can see from this graph that the value of food is 123. And that of medical care is 50. The number of transport is 124. What's more, the lowest expenditure is 33, and it is for holiday. The highest one is 164, which is for housing. To sum up, this graph tells about weekly household spending in Ireland. The following graph gives information about volunteer work. The items include male and female. The horizontal axis is year, ranging from 1990 to 2004. According to this graph, in 1990, the value of male is around 26, the same as female. What's more, the highest percentage of male is 45, which is in 2004. Generally, that of male is higher than female, and the highest point of female is 30. In conclusion, there is a gap between male and female on volunteer work.